What Jordan Travis can accomplish this season at Florida State seems straight out of a storybook. Jordan grew up a huge Florida State fan. He idolized Jameis Winston and dreamed of going to Florida State out of high school. But the offer never came. Now, after many trials and tribulations, Travis will have the chance to lead the Seminoles to the college football playoffs and may even be able to play himself into a spot in New York for the Heisman Trophy ceremony. But who is Jordan Travis and how did we get here? Stay tuned to find out. But before we get into this, if you enjoy college football content like this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'm planning to release a video every day for the month of August. Also, comment on who you want me to cover in future videos and how well you think Jordan Florida State will perform this season. Jordan Travis was born on May 2nd, 2000 and grew up in West Palm Beach, Florida. His older brother Devin is a second baseman for the Toronto Blue Jays. Devin played for Florida State and was drafted in the 2012 MLB draft by the Detroit Tigers before being traded to Toronto in 2014. Jordan was 10 when his brother was a freshman in 2010, and he was enamored by Florida State. Devin told The Athletic he was basically bred into it as a child. I guess he really never looked back. Jordan being my little brother, and me disliking schools like Florida and Miami, and him coming to the games and hearing fans scream and all that, he really took to it. At the time, Jordan was playing Pop Warner football and played catch outside Doak Campbell Stadium and in front of the baseball stadium with his cousin JoJo. He was thrilled when he met then Florida State quarterback E.J. Manuel, and though Devin already had moved on, Jordan came to idolize Seminoles quarterback Jameis Winston in 2013. Jordan wanted to be an athlete at Florida State too, like Devin. Rather than playing in front of the crowds at Dick Hauser though, he wanted to hear the roar of the crowd at Doak. Jordan started his high school career at Palm Beach Central, where he became the starting quarterback his sophomore year. This is the part of the video where I share how he lit up the stat sheet and led his team to the state title game. That's not the case with Jordan though. Jordan only completed 45.4% of his passes for 861 yards, 3 touchdowns and 8 interceptions, while rushing for 482 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Palm Beach Central finished 2-8 that season, and he decided to transfer to Benjamin School, a private school in North Palm Beach. His offensive coordinator at Benjamin was former Marshall and Florida quarterback Eric Kresser. Kresser transferred to Marshall his senior year, and with future NFL Hall of Famer wide receiver Randy Moss as his primary target, he passed for 3,400 yards and 35 touchdowns to lead the Thundering Herd to a 15-0 record in the Division I AA championship that fall. Kresser spent time in the NFL and as a private coach before he became the offensive coordinator at Benjamin, and after evaluating Travis when he first arrived, he believed the young quarterback had a lot of ability but was still very raw. Jordan would make a tremendous improvement in his junior year with the help of Kresser. Together they worked on basic mechanics, worked on footwork, and learned the timing of the routes that they would run on specific plays. They worked on studying film as the season approached. Devin told The Athletic he was pretty instrumental in his development as a quarterback. He really taught Jordan to not just be the athlete Jordan, but the Jordan that can really sling that thing. In his first game of the regular season that fall against Belle Glades Day, Travis passed for 303 yards and 3 touchdowns and rushed for 85 yards and 2 scores. Most importantly, he led a 2-minute drill at the end of the game to secure the 43-41 win. Jordan never let anything faze him, with his father telling The Athletic he would score 5 touchdowns in the game, and the highest thing you'll see from him is coming down and jumping and giving someone a high five. I'm like, come on man, you gotta get pumped. He also didn't let interceptions faze him. He completed 57.4% of his passes for 2,017 yards, 21 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, while also rushing for 384 yards and 11 touchdowns on the ground, leading the Buccaneers to a 7-3 record. He took another giant leap forward his senior year, completing 61% of his passes for 2,190 yards, 24 touchdowns and 7 interceptions, while also rushing for 905 yards and 16 touchdowns on the ground. He led Benjamin to the state playoffs, but lost in the Class 3A regional final to eventual state champions Hollywood Chaminade Madonna. Coming out of high school according to 24/7 Sports Composite, Jordan Travis was a 3-star recruit who was the 25th best dual-threat quarterback and 889th best player nationally. He received 12 different Division I offers from likes of Baylor, Georgia, Louisville, UCF, and USF, but the offer he never received was from Florida State. He made an official visit to Louisville in January of 2018 and signed with Bobby Petrino and the Cardinals the next month. Jordan sat behind Malik Cunningham and Jawan Pass during his freshman year at Louisville as they got blown out by Alabama, barely beat Indiana State and Western Kentucky, and then everything fell apart for the Cardinals. They lost 7 straight games, which caused Petrino to be fired, and they finished the season 2-10. Travis played in 3 games, even though Malik Cunningham and Juwan Pass struggled. That November, Jordan entered the transfer portal. Devin spoke on his brother's transferring, saying, "It was something that he and my family really struggled hard on. My dad, specifically, he's very much so a believer in wherever you start, you don't stop until you're finished. Some very serious issues came up where it just made sense to where they finally made the decision together. Jordan and my parents, that it was in his best interest to go into the transfer portal and figure out what was going to be the next step. And they really weren't sure what was going to come from it. Kendall Briles had recruited Jordan to Baylor and Florida Atlantic, but was now the offensive coordinator at Jordan's dream school, Florida State. After Briles was hired, that old connection was rekindled, and 4 days after that, Travis transferred to Florida State. The Travis family says Briles is the reason their son is at Florida State now. Travis fits his system very well with his skill set, which allowed him to use his arm and legs in an up-tempo spread attack. Finally, Travis was playing at his dream school. Jordan never thought this would ever happen, telling the media, "After I went to Louisville, I was planning on being there for the rest of my college career. But, once again, God works in mysterious ways." Jordan felt immediately at home. Florida State needed a starting quarterback immediately after their dismissed DeAndre Francois was dismissed from the program. Everything seemed to be going in Travis's way heading into spring practice. He just needed to be cleared by the NCAA. At the same time, though, former Wisconsin quarterback, I'm going to puke, Alex Hornibrook transferred to Florida State as a grad transfer. The NCAA eligibility thing was going to be an issue. One ACC rule prevented a player from transferring within the conference. Another ACC rule requires a transferring player to have been in residence at his original school for at least 1 year before he is eligible to transfer. Finally, the NCAA mandates that a player has to sit out a year when they transfer from one FBS school to another. That February, though, the ACC decided to get rid of their transfer rule of needing to be in residence at a school for a year. Louisville worked with Florida State to allow the transfer, so it was just on the NCAA. It was originally denied, but appealed the decision, which was later approved. Travis was eligible for the 2019 season. A bit less than 2 weeks after he was ruled eligible, James Blackman was named the starter over Hornibrook, with Travis as the third-teamer. Travis had played well in the spring game in April, going 22 of 28 for 241 yards, but Hornibrook and Blackman were the experienced veterans. Travis understood and embraced the competition. Travis didn't play in the first 9 games of the season, but he scored his first career touchdown against Boston College and scored on a 66-yard scamper to ice the game. He became the first Florida State player to rush for 60 yards and pass for 60 yards in a game in the win over Alabama State. Willie Taggart was fired that season, but the Seminoles still made a bowl game. Jordan played in 8 games, starting 6 of them in 2020, throwing for 1,056 yards and 6 touchdowns, while also rushing for a school record 559 yards and 7 touchdowns on the ground. He broke Florida State's single-season record for quarterback rushing yards, passing the previous mark of 504, set by Heisman Trophy winner Charlie Ward in 1992. In 2021, he started 8 games, throwing for 1,539 yards and 15 touchdowns, while also rushing for 530 yards and 7 touchdowns on the ground, being named the team's offensive MVP. 2022 was by far Jordan's best season in college, with him throwing for 3,214 yards, 24 touchdowns and only 5 interceptions, while also rushing for 417 yards and 7 touchdowns on the ground. Florida State finished the year going 10-3 and beat Oklahoma in the Pop-Tart Bowl. Jordan is going into his 6th year in college with a lot of expectations for himself and Florida State. Greg McElroy spoke highly of Jordan on his podcast, Always College Football, saying, "Jordan Travis, with how he progressed last year, it'd be hard to envision him having a season that would regress whatsoever. I think he's only going to get better. I think his best football is in front of him. His comfort level within the offense, his rapport and chemistry with the wide receivers. There's nothing this young man can't do on the football field." McElroy goes on to talk about why he thinks Jordan can be sitting in New York at the end of the season for the Heisman Trophy ceremony with a couple of signature wins. Florida State has a schedule and team to do something special. They play LSU to start the season and a few weeks later travel to Clemson. Both those games are projected to be top 10 matchups. If they split those games and win out, they could find themselves in the college football playoffs come the end of the year. Jordan Travis is set to have a special season this year, and I can't wait to watch it. What do you think? How well will Florida State and Jordan Travis do this season? Let me know in the comment section below. If If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe for more college football content like this, and check out one of my other videos YouTube thinks you will love right here. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.